The NARCH VII partnership found new insights in 3 areas related to tribal academic research partnerships: governance, trust, and culture. The NARCH VII partners contracted with Future IQ Partners Inc. to produce the Tribal Research Future game as a tool for tribal academic research partnerships. This video discusses the development of the Tribal Research Futures game.
The game is designed and intended to engage research partners and those tribal officials and organizations that are thinking about or engaged in research. But I think it goes a lot further than that. We've seen with Futures games versions in the past that the application sometimes far exceeds what we designed these games for. And even though it's intended for researchers and partners of research activities within tribes, that leaders, administrators, even students to a certain degree would benefit greatly, and the general public, in understanding what really goes on with this thing called research. It's kind of a nebulous concept, and a lot of folks really kind of struggle with what does that really mean. And the game helps folks to coalesce around what research truly is, what it can be, and possibly what it should be.
Okay, so what's happening here is people are playing the new version of the Future game, and this is a game we're developing with the National Congress of American Indians, and we're trying to explore issues around health policy and application of health research in the tribal context. So in this game we're exploring that tension point between tribal government, elected officials in tribes, and researchers and research administrators, and trying to really tease out some of those dilemmas that occur in that space. Right now what people are doing is playing out the decisions in the game and exploring the scenarios and the different choices that they're trying to make. What the Future game does is allow people to practice decision making in a hypothetical environment. So while people are playing out what we think are issues that have a harmonic with real life, it's done in a game context, and it's sort of done in this sort of cone of safety, where people can practice out different roles, try different decisions, see what the outcome is, and the point of it is to deepen the ability to be able to make thoughtful decisions. Why I'm particularly interested in this version of the Future game, and we do have a couple of different versions, right? But why I think this one is so important as a game is that there's very real consequences in real life of decisions that get made around investment in health research and how, for example, tribes and tribal governance and tribal members interact with the opportunities of research, and how research institutes treat and how they respect tribes. I mean, there's a lot at stake in the real world, both at the level of health outcomes, but at the level of building trust and about partnerships over time. So this game, if it can help people make better decisions and prepare stronger partnerships going forward, that's going to ultimately provide real life benefits for people at the level of health and the level of research outcomes. So why I like this is because it really matters. The outcomes potentially could inform better decision making and lead to better value being accrued to tribes, tribal members, and also research institutions. That is such an important collaborative partnership, and getting that right is going to be critical to long-term projects. So one thing that's really important to remember in the game is that it really teases out possible futures, right? So there's no right or wrong or good or bad, but it really is designed to have us think about what would be the implications if we took certain decisions. If we did this or we did this, not just what's the short term, but what are the long-term implications?
I think the outcome of players of this game, there are several actually. The first one is to understand the environment in which they're faced, and how to make decisions that are in the best interest holistically for the tribe and the research agenda, and the need for a research agenda, and how to manage that with tribes. That really is the central focus. But I think the second thing is that things happen, and when things happen, if you don't have good policies and if you don't have good processes, you can engage in emotional decision making. And typically when you get into that emotional decision making process, what ends up happening is you make decisions that are not in the best interest. So what the game does is it helps to highlight the need for not only the process, but also the policy behind the process and the thought process that helps the different players and the partners to make best decisions with regard to the research agenda for tribes and for institutions within the tribe.